Getting ready to start my next project, and I've never done this before, but I want to dedicate this video series to Katie, Matt, and Jake. They are my grandniece and nephews that live in the Indianapolis area. We just came back from visiting my daughter out there, and also went over to their house and had dinner with them one night. It was a lot of fun. So look what we came back to, you guys. We got another 4 inches of snow, along with 12 inches that we got before we left. So anyway, that's what I got going on. I'm going to dedicate this series to these three, and this is what I'm going to do. This is what I have going anyway, I should say. I have a new printer that I'm purchasing for my business in Rochester, and it's a direct-to-garment printer. So it needs a pretty substantial table to sit on. It's going to be, the tabletop itself that you see there is going to be 28 by 48. And then we want that top to be approximately 30 inches off the floor. And it also has to be perfectly parallel or perfectly level and in both directions. So I'm going to put some levelers there on the bottom. You see here, let me show you here quick. Here I'm going to build some feet, I guess I'll call them, to hold the adjusters. And I've got an idea what I'm going to do there, but I'm not going to take the time to draw it out. I'll show it to you as I make this a table. It's also going to have a drawer that can slide, kind of a pass-through drawer, so you can access it from both directions, either in the front or the back. And I'm going to do something different there too, for like a drawer glide system. I'll show you that as the series goes along too. But it's going to be a 10-inch drawer, or 10-inch space, by the width of this setup. Now, this thing is going to be pretty close to the middle, but I still think there might be some tendency for that, for this thing to want to rack. So I'm going to probably end up putting some bracing in here. You know, just some 45s, probably 4 of them, set back a little bit so that they're not too obnoxious. But then you'll also see here I'm going to have toe kicks along the side, because going through the literature that comes with this printer, you're going to be doing a lot of work on this, working from the side of this table. So you don't want your toes kicking the sides all the time. So this will be Baltic birch, 1/2 inch for the drawer, and then 3/4 inch for everything else. And before I get started, I want to show you the difference in quality of the material I'm working with compared to my last project. This was the so-called Baltic birch that I bought from a big box store, I guess. Not much difference in the plies, but look at the difference in the thickness of the veneer. Incredible. This is probably, I don't know, maybe 100 thousandths thick, and this might be 10 at the most. And also the thickness of the material, well, it's pretty close to the same, but this I think is just a little bit thicker. But I am not using that other stuff, meaning this, ever again. Okay, this is my initial cut. I'm going to use the factory edge against my fence. I'm going 28.5. Then I'll take the offcut, flip it, put the factory edge against the fence, and also rip that to 28.5. I'm going to do the same with this other piece as well. So then I'll have 4 identical pieces. Then I'll just do my double rips again here. I've got an 80 tooth blade in there, and I'm going to try it and see how it works. Should be pretty good because it is rated for plywood. Gotta make sure I keep these factory edges straight here. Don't get mixed up. So I'm just going to put a light X on this side. And a light X on the other side of the other piece. Okay, second cut. Again, still factory edge against the fence. I want to make sure I get a nice parallel cut out here. So I'm taking off about a 1/16 is all. And if I keep this thing nice and tight to the fence, I should be, perfectly parallel. It's interesting as you make this cut again on the same side and you watch the blade go through that material, you can see the variations in thickness of the amount of material being removed, because when I ripped it the first time I was just a little, it got just a little wavy sometimes. So it might be, who knows, 10, 20 thousandths in and out sometimes, but this pass here, it just truded right up, it felt like, as you could watch it go. And that is nice and straight. Nice and true now. So making that second cut is, in my book, something that you have to do in order to get something parallel, when it's this size. Let me, kind of continue with the process. When I make my final cut, I'll flip it over and rip off the factory edge, so I'll have 2 fresh cut edges that are nice and square like this one. And then I'll come back.